Oh, look who we have already, Valerie.
Boom. Hi, Valerie.
Hi, Valerie and Stephanie. It's working, yay.
Excellent.
Woo, we always hold our breath for a minute, right?
Mini nail biter.
I bet, come a little closer because you
Sure.
I bet a lot of people are gonna come on because they're gonna be curious
Okay.
about you.
Oh no.
Yes, because most of my friends, you guys, have known me to be single for the last 3 years. So this is different in a lot of ways, and we're going to talk about that today.
Premiere of sorts.
Yes. Oh, where's my? Oh, here's my notes. All right. So I'm so glad Stephanie and Valerie are here. Makes me feel more comfortable. I was telling Christian, this is like, I never get nervous for these things, but for some reason I feel a little nervous on this one. I don't know why.
How cute.
Oh, I'm so cute. All right, so today, you guys, we are talking about the 3 steps to magically manifest loving and meaningful relationships. And it's also the very last day of our V-Day, Mindfully Ever After V-Day challenge. So I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that towards the end and what that means, because we are offering something phenomenal for you guys. But you're going to have to wait till the end to find out what it is, if you don't know what it is already. So it's very, very exciting too. So on this Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day. What are you guys doing? Valerie said, oh, so sweet. What are you guys doing for Valentine's Day? Because for me, this is the very first year of my entire life. I've been looking forward to it. And that is thanks to our guest today, Christian.
Hey.
It's my boyfriend. It still sounds.
It sounds awkward coming out of your mouth.
Oh, it does. Okay, great.
A little bit.
Yeah, it feels awkward. But I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Slowly.
Yeah.
So Christian and I, actually, I'm going to let you tell. No, I bet people are wondering how we met, because that's the first thing that we talk about. So we're going to do a little background on us and kind of our histories, and then we're going to give you the actual 3 steps to manifest loving and meaningful relationships, the steps that both of us took to get us to where we are now. And it's a very exciting place where we are. So will you share about how we met?
So,
and we tell all here, says,
okay.
Pretty much.
Fair enough. So, as you know, 20 years ago, you would meet somebody out at the coffee shop or at the supermarket or at a bar or wherever, at your job. But now that's a little bit different and strange to some, that if you don't meet online, there was a time where meeting online was odd. How do you meet someone on the computer? But that is precisely how Ella and I met. We were doing an online dating thing, and I see this pretty blonde girl, and she was advertising this cookbook. I was like, interesting. Okay, she's got something going on here. Read through her profile, which I know it's strange, but got to see, and a few things from her profile actually resonated. And I said, ooh, there's something below the surface, not just, oh my God, I want to go on trips so I can take selfies and put it on Instagram. I could tell just from the one paragraph that she had written that there was a bit more substance to this.
Wait, I didn't wrte that?
You did, right?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I was totally there. Yeah.
Yes, I was talking all about selfies.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Next to all the private jet selfies.
Yeah.
Right. So after reading through her profile, I said, okay, this is interesting. Obviously, swipe right, And day or two later, she messaged me and we started kind of chatting. And it's funny because my biggest problem has always been, I put it all out there. I don't really feel the need to not, because the person's going to find out anyhow when you do meet them in person. And amazingly, Ella seemed to as well. And in fact, I just went back a few weeks ago. And as it turns out, I reread our conversations, and they are 100% no fibbing, no sugarcoating, no nothing. It's exact. Yeah, right. It was really strange that what we put out there was exactly what we are, what we're looking for, what our ambitions and hopes and goals and dreams and everything, and which I thought was really cool. So long story short, we went back and forth for about a day. I asked her for her number. We met out the very next day, and it was really cool. So yes. I'll let take it from there.
Yes, and that's how it all started. We went through some ups and downs at the beginning that I'm gonna have you on again
Sure.
because we got to share the whole vegan component of this thing,
course, yeah.
because that was a challenge that we got through. And so that's a whole nother 30-minute segment at least. So we'll talk about that later. Today it's all about the connection, building love, building trust, all that good stuff. Mia's with us too. Hi, Mia. Love me some Mia. All right, so both of us, like he said, really just put it all out there. And that came after, I mean, for both of us, over 20 years of, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but in my 20s and early 30s, my dating life was horrific, to say the least. I had horrible relationships. I mean, in all seriousness, abusive relationships. And something hit me the other day. It was just yesterday, actually. I was sharing with our Plant Empowered Coaching Program group. And what hit me was, you know, because our challenge is all about self-love, what hit me was that for the last 3 years, as I was exploring who I was and really working on developing my own sense of self-love, self-worth, really focusing on that. I didn't think about this at the time, but what I was doing was learning how to treat myself like I wanted to be treated from a partner.
Huge.
And it just hit me in that way yesterday, right before our group call. So that was a super cool thing I got to share on the group call. And then I look back at all those years of being treated poorly, and I think about how poorly I was treating myself.
By allowing it.
But not only by allowing it, yes, by allowing it, but the negative self-talk I gave myself no more worth. And so who's going to see me as worth something more than I see myself as worth? So that was a really powerful realization.
Huge.
Yeah. Do you have anything to, what changed for you, do you think? And I know, should we get into 3 steps? Because that might help us.
Well, there's a short answer to that.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
So a friend of mine once told me, and he has a very, kind of loving, caring, mutually respectful marriage. We had a conversation one time and I said, how did you pick? Because he has a very, very good chemistry with his wife. They've been married for 12 years, couple kids and so forth. And I said, how do you make it work? What is it? And he said, make sure that your top 5 values kind of line up with their top 5 values. And if that really works, then the rest you kind of figure out as you go along. The rest is just detail, so to speak. It's the fine print. And in doing that, I moved to Miami 6 years ago. And in going through the dating scene and online dating and so forth, it was a challenge because I often found people that that were fun and you could go and do fun things and that sort of thing, but the value set was really, really lacking. So when I met Ella, it was like the record scratch, like, wait a minute, I'm out. She's not your normal, girl in the dating scene here in Miami, and she has a very, very strong convictions and very, very strong values and knows exactly what she's looking for. So it was an immediate kind of realization, like, wow, okay, this is someone who knows themselves, knows what they want, and they're very staunch, frankly, in respecting their values.
Thank you. That was a good description. We've got also Lee here and Dilyana. Welcome, guys. Yeah, so for some people who don't understand the dating scene here in Miami, it's, dating is hard anywhere.
Yeah,
and it's tough. But here in Miami, I think it takes it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And we don't even need to go into all of that, but there is the values of many people here are not the same values as the ones we have.
True.
We can say that.
True, yeah.
So with that being said, let's get into the 3 steps, because we're going to have a lot to talk about with these 3 steps. So again, we're talking about the 3 steps to manifest loving and meaningful relationships. Before I get into it, I hate interrupting, but I have to acknowledge everybody's comments. Valerie said, what we call each other in the on our Plant Empowered Coaching Program team, we call each other badass vegan warrior queens. So Valerie just said that's right. She's talking about me.
That's
Oh, thanks, Valerie. You are too. Anyway, so the first step is, and I know this is going to come as a big shocker considering our challenge the last 14 days, but it's learning to love, accept, and respect yourself exactly as you are. Not only accept it, but embrace and be proud of who you are. So first you have to accept and start to respect and love and really embrace the human being that you are. And this is probably the biggest, most challenging part of the Play Empowered coaching program for people coming in. Because even though, I have very strong values, I wasn't aligning my actions with my values in the sense of respecting myself. Sure, I've been vegan for how many years?
23.
Thank you, 23 years, vegetarian for 30. So my value for animals and compassion for animals is and always has been extremely strong, and I never waver on that one. But I didn't extend that same compassion to myself for many, many years until these last 3 years of really, really focusing on doing that. So that is huge. And Brene Brown is one of my favorites. She's a social researcher. I'm sure most of you know. We talk about her a lot in the program because there's a lot of shame that we deal with in the program. And Brene Brown has really devoted her life and all her research to the epidemic, really, of shame. And there are 3 things she says that shame needs to survive, and that's silence, secrecy, and judgment. And it wasn't until I understood that and came out with my story, and I don't do things small, right? I know a lot of I don't do things small.
I noticed.
Yes, yes, and all of you who've been in the program know that too. And so what I did was decide to actually publish on my blog post to anyone and everyone in the world who visited my story. And it's pretty intense, and I share a lot. And I remember the day that I finished writing that first, because there are 5 parts to it, and you guys can check it out on my blog. I'll actually put I'm gonna put the link when we get off. But I remember wanting to press that button and, just taking a deep breath, because I'm like, okay, once it's out there, there's no going back. But I was so sure that it's okay, everything that I've been through and everything that I've done and things that I could be embarrassed about or ashamed about. I was tired of hiding. I was tired of being ashamed. And I wanted to be free from all of that. And I knew that was also preventing me from having a healthy relationship with food, with my body, and with another human being. So I clicked publish that first one, and then I came out with 4 more after that, really, really talking about my story. And it's pretty intense. What did you think when you read it?
It filled in a lot of the gaps between, because obviously through the last 5 months now we've learned a lot about each other, but it helped kind of fill in the gaps and kind of give the background mental process that was going on while you're going through these different. It's different. It's one thing to learn about the what. It's oftentimes better once you learn the why behind the what. And then it kind of fills in the gaps and it rounds out the understanding, which is I think is huge. It's the biggest thing. Everybody wants to be understood, right? So the more you can understand your partner and understand yourself, I think that the more you can interrelate on a more intimate basis.
Yeah. And the other thing that Brene Brown says is that shame cannot survive being spoken. Shame cannot survive being spoken and met with empathy, which is so powerful to me, because this does not mean if you have something that you have been battling for a long time, being ashamed about, this does not mean you have to go tell the world, right? It's about sharing it with somebody you trust. It's about sharing it with somebody that you know is not going to place judgment, who unconditionally loves you. And so the cool thing, what we've done in the program, is set up a private Facebook group just for people that are currently going through the program And it is the most powerful, most safe, most supportive, most empathetic space that I could have ever. I got the chills right now because I couldn't have even imagined the power, and he's not in it, so he doesn't know. But it's just phenomenal, you guys. And people are sharing such sensitive experiences that they've carried with them that has really affected their relationship with themselves, with other people, and with food in their bodies, which is, not the focus of the program, but it's something that we strive. And what happens when we build a healthy relationship with ourselves, the other things come. So we build a healthy relationship with food because then we're using food to fuel ourselves, as a form of self-care, to nourish ourselves because we love ourselves, right? So there's no more need for willpower. And Mia has something to say. Let's see. Mia said, I find it way harder to embrace, be happy with my physical self as opposed to the rest of me, non-physical characteristics. It's like there are 6 kilograms, you say pounds, constantly between me happy with me and me unhappy with me. Why is that so hard? Whew, that's a big one, Mia, and it absolutely is tough. But what we're saying also, and I'm about to publish a blog post also on a movement called body neutrality, which it means basically you love and accept and respect yourself exactly how you are, with also wanting to strive to become the healthiest, healthiest human being from the inside out. And oftentimes when we truly overcome the shame and all the blocks and the limiting beliefs and all the things that are keeping us stuck in our lives, when we really overcome that, the changes, the physical changes are kind of like a side effect. And that's what we see in our program, because a lot of times people come in, they're like, I just want to lose, I want to lose 10 pounds. And I'm like, okay, you've been trying to do that for how long? How many years have you been yo-yo dieting and losing it and gaining it, losing it and gaining it? That hasn't worked, right? And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and thinking you're going to get different results. So I said, let's just try this. Let's put that completely aside and let's focus on the process I've laid out in this program, which is not focused on your weight, which is not focused on losing weight. What happens as the side effect is that people lose weight, but that cannot be the focus. If that makes sense.
You know what that reminds me of? Mia's comment. I saw a Facebook post or some sort of meme recently, the one I showed you, and it said that last 10 pounds or 15 pounds, that is the dessert that you have with your loved ones. That's that extra glass of wine. That's the celebratory Sunday with your kids. That's that one slice of pizza. And then it basically goes on to say, that's your life. That's the moments lived and the moments embraced and the ones that you'll cherish. Everybody wants to be, thinner, leaner, stronger. But what that margin is that's when you're actually living and enjoying and being in the moment. So it's kind of an interesting kind of way of reframing it in your mind, to look at it differently.
Absolutely, and it is about a balance. What are you willing? What's going to make you happy? What's going to make you full of joy while also giving you quality years of your life? And that's something that everybody has to figure out for themselves. But you cannot figure that out until you love and accept and respect yourself exactly as you are. That makes sense? Valerie has a comment for Mia. She said, I think we have all felt that. You are not alone. Now I look back at pictures before I lost the weight, and I feel only gratitude and love for that woman who took the steps to help me build who I am today. More chills. Valerie always gives me chills. Whew, she's amazing. Thanks, Valerie, for that. Okay, should we move on to 2? Do you have anything else to add for one?
I think that's it.
Okay. Step number 2, you guys, is to understand, believe, and use the law of attraction. So this is all about the universe. And for some people, this is like, wow, what do they call it? Woo shit? Yeah. Maybe you want to call it that. But when I learned about it, and we're talking about like The Secret, that's when it kind of first came out.
Rhonda Byrne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had just had too many people telling me, no, this shit works. Too many people telling me that to not try it, because why not, right? So for me, it's all about putting the energy out that I wanted to get back. And the reason I had that big realization the other day about treating myself as I want to be treated, that's what I showed the universe by doing that. I put the energy out and here's how I want to be treated because I'm treating myself that way. And as soon as that clicked for me, literally, like I feel like last year I mastered it. I mean, you'll always be mastering it, but to a big enough degree that when I came back from Europe, I said, it's time. It is time for me to get back on the saddle, I guess. Oh, is that what you say?
Get back on the horse in the saddle.
Okay,
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
I always get those things wrong. Everybody in the program knows too. I just say the most ridiculous things. I don't know why. Anyway, I said it's time, and I put my profile up on Bumble, and he was the first person that I spoke with, and the only person I went out with.
Yeah.
And it was literally like the universe said, yeah, it is time. You are right. You did the work you needed to do, and you're ready to take the next step. And here's the next step.
Hi.
So Stephanie said, I went into the coaching program wanting to be skinny. I came out knowing I'm a badass, and I will take badass over skinny any day of the week.
Amen.
Hell yes,
Amen.
Stephanie. This is our head coach, a head mindset coach in the program, you guys. Stephanie is phenomenal. She's remarkable in her coaching abilities, and one of my best friends now at this point, and certainly a vegan badass warrior queen. So
one thing I want to touch on.
yes, please. I'm not done. Yes, I mean I'm done talking about it, but you, yes. Please.
Okay. I know Ella mentioned that some people can resonate with the woo-woo stuff. Sometimes I have a harder idea getting my head around kind of ethereal, spiritual concepts. You know, I'm very science-minded, very numbers. That's what I do. So I heard the same coin, but the other side of that coin is one thing is to put something out into the universe, but a more scientific way I've heard it described was that there's this thing in your brain called the reticular activation center. And it's basically when you put an idea into your mind, your subconscious will go through and figure out how to manifest that. Mm-hmm. For instance, you go out shopping for a new car, and you go to the Honda dealer, and then you're driving home, and all you start seeing on the road are Hondas. Because what happened is you put it in your brain, and next thing you know, your brain starts connecting dots more than you ever thought you could. It's whether you look at it from a spiritual or a scientific angle, it's the same sides of it's two sides of the same coin. But that's something that's always resonated with me is when you put out there, you have to be able to know, have clarity on what it is you're looking for, and then your subconscious will figure out, because as you're, let's say in a relationship, you know, if you have a clear idea of what you want, you start noticing, oh wait, this person has this quality. This person doesn't have that quality. This person has a lot of this quality. And so as you're meeting people or even dating or whatever it might be, whether you're looking for a partner or looking for a suitable employee or whatever, having mental clarity over something, your brain will connect those dots for you. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
And that's something that you would absolutely say. I love it. He's like the analytical, not that I'm not, but you're really.
Yeah, I'm Rain Man level. Yeah.
I love it. Yes. So, this doesn't just apply to finding meaningful relationships. It really applies to everything that we want in our lives. And the big one for a lot of people is the abundance factor, and specifically financially. Mia's laughing. Because, 80% of America, from what I've read, lives paycheck to paycheck. It's scary. It's a scary place to be. And it's, you go into survival mode, and because you're making decisions out of fear, that's still the energy you're putting out. So, and I was in a terrible financial situation until 3 years ago, until I created this program and changed my outlook and started putting out the abundant energy for me to get my financial freedom for the first time in my life. And it happened for me. And it is a phenomenon. People in the program, they're making big risks to take. It's a significant commitment. It's 6 months. It's a significant investment. This is no small deal. You come into this program and you are doing the work, but you are getting exactly what you want out of the work if you come in and do it. But it does take that leap of faith saying, okay, this is scary, but it's time, because if I keep putting out the scarcity energy, I'm going to stay right where I'm at. And that includes financially. So the people in our program are getting, Jamie came in, she was jobless, living with her mom, single mom. She made the leap. And 2 months later, she got her dream job. Wow. And another month later, she got a job as a professor, which, in addition to her dream job, which is another dream of hers. And it just kept going. Valerie was on last week, I believe it was, and she talked about just getting a promotion at work. That, things just happen, and it's really, really exciting.
They happen when you make changes.
Yes.
Because if you always do what you always did, you always get what you always got, right? So when you take that first step, and then it's just like a snowball that starts.
Yeah, and if people spend little bits here and there thinking that that's going to work. I'll get this diet, I'll get this little program or whatever. This is all that people need, because we cover it all, and we do it in such a systematic and supportive and just such a powerful way. It's hard to even describe. I need to post some of the things that go on in our group, anonymously, of course, because I just can't even describe the level that we've taken this program to. Anything else for Law of Attraction?
No.
Okay, number 3 and final is living in authenticity and integrity. So that, to me, that means being confident and proud of who you are, and to be able to share yourself with the world as you are. Your strengths, your weaknesses, or what I like to call challenges, all of that. Not just, on social media, everybody posts their happiest times, or they make a big smile for the camera and then go on and are miserable. Mm-hmm. And it puts across this, it's a facade that people do, because they're not willing to share the tough stuff. And for me, integrity, and then I'll let you go. Integrity for me is really aligning your actions, your lifestyle with your values. So you're living in integrity when you're clear about your values, what you truly care about in this world, in your life, and that you are acting and speaking in line with the things that you care about, and when you're out of alignment, you're out of integrity. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts about authenticity and integrity?
Other than the fact that be yourself, because A, everyone else has already taken that old adage, right? And B, life is too short to spend time thinking about impressing somebody else that you don't really care about in the first place. So there's a certain freeness with being yourself, and dance like no one's watching.
Yes.
It's kind of a way to go through life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And this is step number 3, because you can't do step number 3 if you don't do step number 1.
Sure.
Because if you're not loving and accepting and respecting yourself, you're certainly not going to share that with anybody else. If you're living in shame, you're living in hiding, and you cannot be your most authentic self. And I spent so many years being authentic in certain realms, like my passion for helping people go vegan and saving animals and protecting our planet. That was all in alignment, but I was still out of balance, out of whack, because that's what I focused on, and I let the rest go. I let the tough stuff for me stay hidden. I was afraid. I did it out of fear of judgment, fear of not appearing to be the perfect vegan when people were already skeptical about vegans. Like there's plenty of reasons. I had traumatic events that I didn't want anybody to know about, but that's all over. Read my story if you're interested. It's entertaining, I guess you could say. But those are the 3 steps, you guys. Learn to love, accept, and respect yourself exactly how you are. Understand, believe, and use the law of attraction in your favor, and be authentic and live in integrity. And that's it. What do you guys think? How do those sound to you? I know the people in my program know all about that stuff. So yes, we are at the 30-minute mark. I want to make sure that you guys know that you have a few hours left at this point, till midnight. I guess anybody's time till midnight we'll give them, even on the Pacific. to book your free breakthrough session. And what we're doing is we're giving away a free month of coaching, an absolutely free entire month of coaching. So instead of 6 months, if you enroll in the program, it's going to be a 7th-month program, which is phenomenal. You can ask anybody in the program how much they would have loved to have 1 extra month. It's huge. And just so you know, this, I think a lot of people hear breakthrough session and they think, oh, it's just a sales call. And that is completely understandable. And I bet there's a lot of those out there. This is not that, you guys. This is a session because we don't just accept anybody into the program. We spend 45 minutes with each person really exploring what your individual, unique struggles are, what your needs are, what your vision of where you want your life to go. And only if we are completely confident that the program is the right fit, that you are ready to embark on this intense journey, and that we feel confident that we can get you to where you want to be, only then will we even offer you a spot. And if that's the case, we will tell you all about how it works, answer all your questions, take it from there. If it's not the right fit, we will do our best to point you in a different direction that's more helpful. We handpick every single client, and that's the exact reason we have the group that we have.
Chemistry and everything.
Absolutely. That chemistry within that group is everything. So we are not going to bring somebody in who's going to bring that energy down, who's going to ruin what we have. Only people that are going to fit in and lift everybody else up at the same time. And that doesn't mean we're not talking about our struggles. That just means we're there for each other without judgment. And everybody's learning the same powerful tools. So I will put, if I didn't already, the link. We've got a few hours left. Completely free. You have absolutely nothing to lose. Now's the time. Do it now because, like he said, freaking life is too short. And I think about 6 months down the road where you could be if you did the program versus where you probably will be if you don't.
That 6 months is going to pass no matter what.
Exactly.
The question is, where will you be?
Where will you be? And do you want to get to 6 months down the road regretting you didn't start now, but knowing where you could be in 6 months? So anything else to add to that?
No.
Yes.
Well said.
Awesome. So that's it, you guys. Thank you everybody for joining us, and everyone watching later. Feel free to private message me, Stephanie, Dawn. This is our Plant Empowered Coaching team. And we're here to answer any questions that you have as well. So love you all. Have a beautiful Valentine's Day. Celebrate the love for yourself first, and then the love for the people you have around you. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Happy Valentine's Day.